How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the two trades that I took on MNQ. Had two losses. An unfortunate loss. My second trade was just emotional and stupid. Um, but I put a max risk in today so I can lose. It's supposed to be no more than 500. I have a max risk of 500. Somehow I got to 608. So regardless, that limit in place did prevent me from taking any more trades. They were very quick. Um, we can talk about that in just a second. We'll go into what I was watching on the day. Yesterday I had a massive sell-off. We had a big level of support here. Also coincidentally where the pre-market low was around like 18,508. Had pre-market high marked out. What we were watching for was just kind of to see which way we broke. If we broke above pre-market high, if we broke below pre-market low, trying to get a direction on the day. We had a little bit of chop, as you can see by the hourly time frame, right? Sold off, bounced right back, sold off, bounced right back, sold off. So it was a little choppy. But we did have a trend in the initial part of the day. We had a big move to the upside, test that pre-market high perfectly, and then rejected off. There were some opportunities I missed. I was being a little hesitant today because we had such volatility that I was really having a hard time kind of gauging where to enter and where to put stops because the ranges were so large. And I'm talking about normally I try to go for like a 10, 15 point stop. If I was, entering off my general rules and looking at, placing stops in reasonable areas is closer to like 20, 30 point stops. So I hesitated. Like this one was really nice, right? We had like this swing low. We were in an uptrend. We had a swing low, broke, retested, also failed the EMA. That would have been a really nice entry to the downside. It doesn't look like much, but we dropped 60, 70 points off that. Pretty crazy. But if you just look at these wicks, like these are 20-point wicks as well. So I struggled with that, and it caused me to hesitate. And the trades that I did take weren't excellent. I'm not mad at the first trade I took. The second trade I took was foolish. But let's get into it. So I mentioned watching this range to see if we broke to the upside or the downside. Once we got this rejection off the pre-market high, we started trending down. Like I said, there's some opportunities in here. These rejections off the 20 EMA on the 5,000 tick chart were really nice. I just didn't take them. Like I said, I was feeling hesitant for some reason. I think because of the amount of volatility we were having, just these wild swings. The trade that I did take, though, is that we sold all the way down, broke quite a ways below, like over 100 points below that pre-market low. When we came up and retested it, let's take a look. We pushed up and retested it and got a series of weak candles to the upside. If we're looking at these, they have small candle bodies, long upper wicks. We even tried to push above that pre-market low twice and failed. I entered on this subsequent candle. So two things kind of happened here. I initially just entered with 3 contracts because we were experiencing heightened volatility. And I didn't want to necessarily go full size into this. I got a kind of a bad entry. You can see I entered here. I was trying to enter a little closer. I tried to enter once this candle had closed, but I did a market sell, and when I did that, we got a big spike down pretty much immediately. If we take a look at that, and caused me to coincidentally get a not so great fill. Let's take a look at what I'm referring to here. So we had this candle close looking weak. I tried to enter, and then within like 40 seconds we got this big spike down, so I just didn't get the greatest fill. When we came up and retested this area, I bought another 3 contracts. I'm comfortable with the position size about like 5 to 6 contracts, so I was happy to add. I guess I should have paid a little bit. All right, I was paying attention, but I was hoping we'd get the flush back down, which we did not get. But we came down and wicked off that EMA, which is a pretty good sign that we weren't going to just crush right through it. But yeah, entered again when we came up to retest. I was watching these wicks and I was willing to give it a little bit of room. But ultimately we started pushing up and had like a 40 points is where I got out. And coincidentally, that was pretty much like 2 points off the top of this swing. So if you look at where my average entry would be, it'd be between the two of these, as I bought 3 contracts on both. So my average entry would be in between those two, around like 18,495 or so. Sold pretty much at the very top, and then we collapsed like 100 points. So that would have been a very profitable trade had I don't know if I diamond hands it, but I didn't want to do that, right? I was already down 40 points. I was trying to give it some room because I knew we had increased volatility. I liked the setup, but it just blasted my position, and I didn't want to take more than 40-point loss. That's a lot more than I was going for. I was willing to let it run, more like 30 points in terms of a stop loss because we were looking at such big moves. I was targeting kind of the bottom of this range, which would have been 70 points or so to the bottom down in here. So I was willing to give it like a 30-point wiggle room, even though my stop was about 40 points. I was willing to be a little loose with it because I was targeting a much bigger move kind of towards that low a day. It was just unfortunate that when I called it quits at 40 points, it went up, 2 more before collapsing, about 100 points from there. So that's tough. That was, I think the idea was there. We just had so much volatility that it was kind of hard to judge. I think my entry could have been better, right? If I entered more towards the top of these wicks, then that gives me about 30 points, which was within my risk tolerance, So I definitely had a bad entry on my first sell. My second entry was a little bit better, but nonetheless, I wasn't trying to watch a loser just run uncontrolled. So, yeah. I got out. That's unfortunate. That could have been a really big winner. And I know that unfortunate getting stopped out just a mere few points before he turned around and got the move down caused me to take an emotional trade on my second trade. So that was my first trade of the day and a loss. My second trade of the day is we came down and we held this EMA again. And I thought we might see another pop back up there. That's looking at like a 40 or like a 40, 50, 60 point move from here to there. So that's really what I was trying to get. I entered 5 contracts long, and then these were just stopped out when it hit my max loss, which was 10 points. So I had a tight stop there if we broke below the EMA, which we did, so that loss saved me because we dumped from there. Like I said, this original position was the one that I should have stuck with. That being said, this was emotional, like I said, because I got a big move to the upside. We moved like 50 points to the upside. We started to hold that EMA again. I entered just looking for a quick scalp. I entered more contracts. I was just trying to really make up this loss and look for a quick scalp to the upside, as it looked like maybe we had found a bottom. But it was quite a bit reactionary, right? I wouldn't have normally taken that so close after taking a losing trade, and I think that's an indication. Like taking a counter trade just minutes after I got out of that trade, or about a minute after, 2 minutes after, goes to show that like that wasn't great, right? That was emotional. So unfortunate there. I am happy that I put that max loss in place. It allowed me I was frustrated, but I was able to walk away from the day and not just sit here and just gamble on this and take unnecessary losses. So we're down 460. Luckily, I had a win on my first day on this account. So even though today was a big loss, we're not down overall a ton. Looking to average around $200 to $300 in profit if I'm having a good day. So yeah, we can recover from that. Not that that's like the mindset that I necessarily want to have is like trying to make back losses, but if I can take better trades, get some wins, have some proper positioning, we're not down too much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I think to me, it's just I think I should just stick to the, trying not to buy calls underneath the EMA and trying not to buy puts above the EMA. This kind of would have worked a little bit. It had, like I said, it ran a few more points than I was willing to risk, which was unfortunate. It was just, we had a lot of volatility today. If you look, we're dropping hundreds of points like it's nothing. So unfortunate. I took a bigger loss than I should have. Traded a little emotionally. Even if I just sized down and took this trade, it wouldn't have been so disastrous as to have a $200 loss. I could have took a position size of like 5 contracts and cut that in half. but nonetheless, it is what it is. Yeah, we kind of gotten some chop from here, made a move up, chop from there, made a move a little down. It was the best moves of the day were in here for sure. Once we made that rejection off that pre-market high, came down, failed that EMA, came up and retested. Like, this was probably the best entry of the day. But we were still kind of in the middle of this range, I guess, testing the bottom of this previous range. It was tricky. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, it got me. Yep, that's it. And heading into next week, I'll be out all next week. I think that's a good thing. I've been, I think, some stress externally from trading has entered trading today specifically. I think just real life situations kind of bled into trading emotions today and influenced, like not handling an initial loss well. So taking this next week off, I'm gonna be on vacation, so won't be trading. And I think it will be a good little break and step back. But that's all I got for you this week. Unfortunately, ending it with a loss, not how we wanted to do so, but it's the reality. I trade live Monday through Friday. Like I said, off next week. I'll be back regular trading schedule in the week after. And yeah, hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Peace.